I can't wait to hear the story. And now let's try and have lots of good little stories so I can actually cut it up. And all right.
Yeah.
Hey,
Cool.
Sally.
Hey, Paul, how are you? Good to see you again
Oh,
this day.
I'm so excited today because we're going to be talking about somebody who about a year ago came up with this idea about starting her own fashion empire. And it's come to fruition. So we've actually named it, what's it, from passion to fashion.
Woohoo!
Right?
100%. So excited.
Yeah.
Okay.
So welcome aboard. So just for those that don't know, Sally is the person I'm talking about. A year ago, Sally and I, we both read the same book over the same weekend, and we both got our ideas. And your idea was to actually start a clothing range, but it's not any clothing range. It's very unique in a lot of many different ways. And we'll explore the different uniqueness to it, like you use bamboo and you've got all the colors of the chakras and things like that. So we'll explore all of that, but just welcome. I'm so excited to hear about your story.
Thank you, Paul. Well, it all started with you, baby. It all started with you. We sort of had had we started the mastermind, we were definitely swapping book stories. And I think out of Napoleon's thing, you came up with a mastermind. And so we thought I'm not sure. We started reading books anyway. And so we both read Joe Vitale's book, hang on, I've got it written down, The Manifesting of Money, The Secret to Attracting Money by Joe Vitale. The Secret to Attracting Money. And I walk and listen to books. And it was on a Saturday that I started it, and I really enjoyed the book. So by Sunday afternoon, I'd finished binging it. So I did 2 lots of 12-hour walks along the beach and finished the book. And the very last chapter of the book, and Joe, his own story is pretty amazing, from sort of being a bum to being a billionaire. And his last chapter in the book said, the way to monetize, or the way to make money is to monetize what you're passionate about. And I'm walking along thinking, well, what am I really, truly passionate about? Yeah, about helping people create change in their lives and all that sort of stuff. But what really lights my fire? And I thought every single day, walking in nature, listening to Audible, empowering books and podcasts, stuff that really, I just love it. And the other thing is working out every day, workshopping life with my girlfriend. So as we're working out in the gym or doing weights, and we're just workshopping everything that's going on in our life. And I thought, well, how do you monetize that? I thought the biggest issue I've been having since I've been doing a lot of healing work for a number of years now is you don't make enough money. And I thought, I'm sick of playing small. I put in so much effort. I do all these learnings and research and everything. And I thought, it's time to step up and, get out of my comfort zone. And I thought, well, how do I monetize this? And I thought, let's combine the practical with the more spiritual line that I like to live in, because we are, we're human beings living on this planet, like on this earthly planet, but we're all on our different journeys. And I'm particularly on a more spiritual path, as are you, sort of consciously waking up. And I thought, well, why not invent some conscious clothing, because we have to practically get dressed every day, but let's get dressed more powerfully for the day ahead. So the very next day, we had a couple of things groups that we're both in the morning. And then I did a meditation. And by the evening, I came up with this name, Empowered Clothing, Dress with Intent. So I'd registered it with ASIC and then did the domain name as well. And I thought, well, where to from here? And I thought, right. And so I just meditated my butt off to get the answers. So by Friday that week, I'd decided, okay, I'm going to do some clothing. What sort of clothing? I want to do workout wear for women committed to their well-being, because I thought, well, let's start with what I know and the people that I know this idea where I workshop life with, and they're sort of 40s, 50s and 60s, because as we're getting older, we're aging gracefully, but we become more invisible. Our kids are growing up, people around us are busy, but everybody seems to know it all. But women in particular have all this wisdom inside that particularly our kids go, oh, we know it all. And they think, well, right, okay, let's hang out with the people, like-minded people, and boost each other up, because, there's so much greatness within us. So basically I thought, let's ignite the wisdom within us and fire up the energy inside of us and really allow ourselves to step in more powerfully into the driver's seat of our own energy. So that was the concept. And I thought, right, but since COVID, I thought, let's bring manufacturing back to Australia. Let's boost our own economy. I thought, right, so one of my strong values is to manufacture something in Australia that's also ethically and sustainably sourced. Because not knowing about the fashion industry, it's up there with one of the first, second, or third most wasteful industries in the world. And I can understand why my kids are all banging on about sustainability, because they have a long future ahead on this planet, and this planet is just dying with this waste. You and I talk about it all the time, how wasteful this world is. So I thought, right, so in the end, I've gone down the bamboo line. Nothing in the fashion industry, you can't get anything 100%. There's all nasties involved in every sort of part of the process, but just trying to reduce those nasties and make it as sustainable as possible. So I've gone with bamboo that has been ethically sourced and produced in Queensland. And and bamboo is amazing fabric. Like, it's really it's non-smelly, it's moisture wicking, so it's just you can work out and you don't get stinky, and it's cool and comfy to wear. So I've come up with something stylish in a minute that's easy wash, easy wear, and I like to call it high vibe clothing. So that's it in a nutshell.
That's fantastic. And one of the things you mentioned is it's conscious clothing. What do you actually mean by conscious clothing?
So it's for people who have woken up a little bit, who have some conscious awareness about themselves and about their own energy. So, there's a terrible term, but it's called the walking dead. People that just sort of in that routine hamster wheel, sort of, you can pick it, just sort of dead on the inside. Conscious people are people who have some conscious awareness of themselves and the surroundings, and have some purpose and meaning in life where they're in alignment with their energy, if you like. So this is energy clothing. It's based on, because everything is energy. We talk about this all the time. Everything is energy. So it's combining the power of color, the energies that are associated to that. So, like when you get dressed, you're drawn to colors. Oh, I want to wear this blue shirt today, or this red shirt. Behind the scenes, that means something. So each color has an energy. And then I thought, well, why not combine it with the chakras, which are our own energy centers within our own etheric body? So I actually work with a 13 chakra system, but for the sake of meeting people where they're at, I'm starting with the 7 chakra system. So there's 7 energy centers within our bodies that I'm working with: the base chakra, the sacral, the solar plexus, the heart, the throat, the third eye, and the crown center. And then I thought, well, and you know what? Let's throw in some crystals, because I use crystals and carry them with me all the time. But I generally carry my crystals down my boobage. And I thought, I can't market a clothing range with, here, stick this down your boobage. So I've incorporated crystals in a heart shape in the color of the chakra that align with the chakra properties. And they have a little pocket that just pops in the side of the top. So then I thought, well, let's add on top of this, amplify the energy even more by stepping into some powerful affirmations and intentions. So each top, so there's 7 colors, so there's 7 tops, and there's 2 styles, and each color has an affirmation or intention linking into that chakra color. So for example, today I'm wearing orange, which is about creating balance, fun, and abundance. So that's tapping into your sacral chakra, which is about creation. So I'm creating more balance in my life, more fun, and more abundance. So that's what I'm calling in, because at the end of the day, where your attention goes, your energy flows. So if I'm calling in this higher, more positive energy, where do you think my energy is going to go and my attention? It's like every day I'm powerfully calling that in. So I'm hanging onto the crystal or carrying it in my pocket. So it's enhancing and amplifying those qualities and properties. What do you think of that, Paul?
I love it. And you mentioned the colors and the different chakras. And those are all the colors behind there.
Yeah.
I'm assuming each color is per chakra or something. Is that right?
Correct, yeah. So base, the red, which I'm wearing underneath, is about anchoring and grounding. That's your base chakra or your root chakra. Here we go, more boobage, but I choose to be anchored. So that's about anchoring, right?
I missed
Your
that.
base
Can you do it
chakra,
again?
grounding and anchoring. And that's about, the base chakra is about your basic needs, security, roof over your head, food, shelter, all that sort of stuff. And it's red. So I combine it with a red jasper crystal. But you're calling in, and have I got the red long sleeve? The long sleeve one says anchoring peace, calm, and happiness. What am I wanting to draw in and anchor myself down with? The next one up is orange. So that's your sacral chakra. As I said, I'm wearing orange. So that's about creating. What is it you're choosing to create in your life? The next one is the solar plexus, and that's the yellow one, the solar plexus chakra, and that's about your empowerment. Facing your fears, finding that courage, strength, empowerment, and really stepping into your power there. So that's the yellow. And then the next one up is the heart, and it's about love. So I choose to love, embracing love, joy, and happiness in your life. Then the next one is your throat, which is a blue color. Now the heart can be pink or green. I've chosen pink just because it was a women's range, but I can tell you a lot of women are after the green as well, so I might have to do that next round. Next one is your throat. So I can't tell you, so far we've been open like less than a week, fully launched, and light blue's going off the shelf. So that's your throat chakra. It's a light blue color. I can't believe that's the most popular, that and pink. So that's about expressing yourself, being heard. It's about communication. So, I choose to be heard is the wordage on the racerback, the sleeveless top, and on the long one, it's about speaking your truth, speaking from a place of love, and speaking with acceptance, so that there's no judgment. You're just accepting what is. Next one is your third eye. That's about opening up your intuition, your inner knowing. That sixth sense, and so that's connecting in with your gut. That's a dark blue or indigo color. That's really, really popular too. And is the last one, which is your the crown chakra, which is purple, linking in with amethyst, the crystal there, and that's about that higher level connection, to above, to the universe, to whatever you want to call up there, to source, whatever it is. So that's your energy centers in a nutshell. So the colors all link into that. And I say to people, whatever color you're drawn to is the energy that you're requiring. So a lot of people, based on the sales, is being around the throat, expressing, being heard, communicating, all that sort of stuff.
But I also imagine that if you got all the different colors, if you wake up in the morning and you need to feel especially more courage for the day, you might just go, you know what, I'm going to wear the yellow. Or
that's exactly the idea. Yeah. And there's 7 colors, right? There's one for each day, but that's exactly what I do. So every morning I get up and I think, what am I going to do? And these are designed to layer. So they're designed for the aging body, perimenopause and menopause. So, a little bit looser. This is a relaxed, fit, medium weight one. But what was I going to say? A little bit wider, but the colors combine together. So like today I'm anchoring and creating. So for me to be creative, I have to be, in that anchored space. It's amazing how they combine together, the pink and the purple, the love and the connection. It's incredible how they just morph together. The orange and the yellow I had on yesterday, I think, underneath, or yellow on top. So that was empowering and creating as well, having that strength and encouragement and empowerment to do stuff. It's incredible how it all works, and then amplifying it with the different crystals. Incredible. So there we go. So on the side as well, to support all of this energy, I've got all different crystal bracelets. I've got them in the chakra colors with the chakra energies, but also combining different elements like stress, well-being. There's a whole wall full of different sort of well-being crystal bracelets. And our very good friend Claire has made energy sprays. So she's done the sacred geometric line. She's done ones for kids. She's done ones for just well-being. Amazing stuff. And then on top of that, my sister and I have made chakra candles, all with the essence of the Australian bush, just Australian stuff, kakadu plum, lemon myrtle, all the Australian nice smelly things put in with crystals. So this one's got citrine, so I've been burning that for abundance. Brett calling that in. And and to finish it off, combining it with my wellness mindset journal. So get your mind back on track, working on your mindset with the 30-day wellness journal, which is super, super cool. So that's it in a nutshell. That's the whole range that we've got. And it's just about allowing people to step more into the driver's seat of their own energy, be in the driver's seat of your life.
Oh, that's fantastic. And where I want to go now is just a little bit about your journey from first thoughts to actual manifestation of this.
Yeah.
So along the way, what's been your biggest challenges?
As part of following your thoughts is to trust, believe, and allow. So just allow yourself to get out of your head and overthinking, because, it can really go, if you start to doubt yourself. But the other thing is having a budget, and I blew out the budget, but I then had thought, if I want to give this a go, I have to do it. So originally I thought 10 grand. And then when I joined the program that was supporting me and guiding me along the way, they sort of said, yeah, most people spend 10 to 30. Well, in the end, I spent 60 grand. But I'd committed myself enough and trusted that this was going to be okay to follow that journey forward, because I thought, you know what, I want to give this a go. It's something unique and different. It feels in alignment with my direction and purpose moving forward. So I thought, I've got to trust that vibe. Every time I haven't trusted the vibe, things happen. So I just thought, I'm going to give this my best shot. So this is a really good opportunity to do as a case study, and let's see how we go. Hey.
Yeah, well, both you and I studied Think and Grow Rich together,
Mm-hmm.
book, and it starts from a definite purpose, a definite plan. Your definite plan was to create this clothing range. And the clothing range is not just any clothing range. It's, as you said, conscious clothing range. It's designed to help people with conscious living, making decisions,
Correct.
more energy, those kind of things. And throughout the process, a lot of people, one of the biggest traits you need to have in order to succeed is persistence.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so tell us a little bit more about those times, because I bet you there were many times where you thought, you know what, I'm not going to do this.
Yep. So, what got me through, what actually got me through and kept my persistence up, is that within that first week when I came up with the idea, I was Googling just different things, and I came across this site called Ethical Clothing Australia, because I'd very quickly realised that I wanted to be an ethically produced clothing range. And so I thought, well, where do I start? So I came across Ethical Clothing Australia, and then I came across this group called Sample Room. And the lady Julia runs it, and she's been in the industry for over 30 years. And she was sick of seeing small first timers, if you like, or small entrepreneurs investing so much money, not being able to keep going, doing the wrong process and all that sort of stuff. And so she offered this program for about $5,000, where they guide you on your journey through and show you the step-by-step, the best way to do it, the most economical way. But as part of that package, they offered weekly Q&A. So anybody can turn up and can talk about, ask any questions or whatever. Now, I've got to say, there was only myself most of the time that turned up every week. So I put it in my diary. I made it a non-negotiable. Every single week I rocked up, because it kept the momentum going. As part of that, I did goal setting every single week and just kept consistent. Like, I have my list, like that's today's, and I'd highlight and cross off as I'm getting it through. So I kept at it because it's very easy to get overwhelmed. And so, as you know, that if we chunk down our goals or our tasks into smaller ones and keep them realistic and timely, keep them smart and all that sort of stuff, it keeps you going. Now, having that weekly Q&A that was just on offer, and often it was just me that turned up, you had that accountability. So accountability really helps you stay persistent as you go along. We also did a spreadsheet of deadlines. So I had sort of little mini deadlines to work towards. entirely up to me the time frame that I did it, but get this design in, get that in, and also you've got to like manage your finances and budget. So I've kept a spreadsheet the entire time of all of my costs. So I've kept my thumb on the outgoings plus the whole process. So because I didn't know anything about it, Paul, so being persistent was just, I thought, you know what, I want to give this my best shot, and I made that a focus and just turned up every week.
And what you're doing is you're just ticking off all those little things that you need to tick off in order to, and it's a process, right? If you don't do one of those steps, it's not going to work. And the important one that you mentioned was actually your finances. Okay, it was blown out a little bit, but you're keeping a record of the costs and all of that. So what it means is that moving forward, you'll break even, when you will be in the money and all of that. The other thing that you mentioned with the Q&As, you were the only one that turned up. And again,
I mean, sometimes others did, but for majority of the year, I was just the regular one. In fact, a couple of months ago, they created this new award once a month as the client of the month, and they created it because I was like the perfect client, turning up all the time. I was watching all of their posts and learning from them. So there was the Facebook private group, there was the Insta posts, and I learned a lot because I knew nothing about the fashion industry. So it's about constantly learning and learning and learning and growing.
And what I want to draw people's attention to is, again, this comes out of the book Think and Grow Rich, is the Mastermind Alliance. And in your Mastermind Alliance was to have this group of people that knew what they were talking about. They could guide you, and not only could they guide you because you were the one that kept turning up, and other people turned up as well. You really managed to get into their brains and really make sure that you got all you needed to get in order to make this come to fruition.
And that's a really important point, is that we can often sit back and then go do the Debbie Downer or woe is me, but just showing up wherever you show up. It's just teamwork does make the dream work, and this whole shift that we're going through is all about building a community of like-minded people. It's about collaborations, it's about connections. And so I just kept connecting with people in that area. Another thing I did was have sort of like a working group of mates who I put everything through. So all my ideas, I used my phone, walked on the beach, and took notes every weekend, like just to get these words on the top. I can't tell you how many hours I've walked the beach up and down trying to nail the right words with the right intent, with the right energy. That took weekend after weekend after weekend. Like everything took a lot of time. But then I had a little group that I put together on Messenger, and I go, hey, chicks, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? And then we all came together a bit like those focus groups, and they go, no, we don't like that. We want this. And it really was teamwork. So it wasn't just me just running blind. I was being supported by everyone, even in our loom that we're in, getting the energetic support from people. So, as I launched, I've got accreditation with Ethical Clothing Australia, and that wasn't easy. That was like pulling teeth in some ways, and then getting made in Australia. So I've got the validation behind me already as I'm going out there just launching out.
And we're coming to the end, but one of the things I want to ask you about is when you go and you set out on your journey to create something like you've created, things kind of like fall into place and the world opens up. Tell us some of those things that occur to you along the journey.
Oh, 100%. That's, you're on the right track when in alignment and flow, when things just fall at your feet. For example, we'd had our discussion about the book. The very next day, the name came to me, and I registered it by the end of the night. By the end of that week, when I decided, right, I want to do a clothing range and I want it made in Australia, and I actually put it out there and I said, I wouldn't mind in Melbourne. By the end of that week, I found the sample room, and they're based in Collingwood, which is, it's 15 minutes from here. I couldn't believe it. Then another thing was, and I found them through Ethical Clothing Australia. When I contacted Ethical Clothing Australia, it normally takes 5 months for the accreditation. I had it done within 4 weeks. incredible, unheard of, like unheard of. Made in Australia, happened within 2 days. So, you know, when there's roadblocks and you keep getting roadblocks, then you got to stop and say, what am I doing wrong? Or what other path should I be on? But every time I knew I was in flow, things just, the doors opened, like finding sample room and then signing up with them, you know, straight away. First of all, they had a 4-part free program workshop saying, have you got an idea and you want to see how it happens? This is within 5 days of coming up with the idea. I signed up for the workshop because it was free, did the 4 things, it answered all of the queries that I had in my head, and then I signed up a week later and started. So we're almost to the day, a year later, after I came up with the idea, after talking with you, binging through the book and having conversations on a Monday night, it was lodged. And now here we are a year later, already, you know, making sales. Incredible.
It is incredible. And the other thing I just want to draw people's attention to is you took action. When an idea came to you, you didn't sit on it. And that's actually one of the big messages is you've got to take action, and you've got to be quick to take an action and slow to unmake that decision, if that makes sense. So you keep telling us how you made all of those decisions, which is amazing.
Was it Napoleon Hill or Joe Vitale that said, if you've got this idea, it means somebody else has got it too? And so who was that said that?
It's both of them in a different way. But yeah, so when you download an idea, it's downloaded to 10 or 15 different people or more. Now, Joe Vitale's story was actually he got an idea, he took action and started doing it. And one of his friends rang him up and said, oh, I've got this great idea. And when Joe asked him what the idea was, it's the exact idea that he had just got from the ether. So when an idea comes, it comes to many people because the universe realizes that most people won't follow through.
Yeah.
So it's giving the idea to enough people so that one will at least follow through. It's kind of, you know, in marketing, you throw enough spaghetti against the wall, some of it will stick.
Yeah, and also so many of us are given opportunities all the time. Do we pounce on it? And it's almost like a test from the universe. Here you go, then I'll just give you a little bit. Just run with that and see how it goes. Years ago, one of my neighbours was who was the guy that used to run Carlton Footy Club? I can't think of his name. He's passed away now. He was
someone.
No, I can't think of his name. Oh, you're not a Melbourne guy. Anyway, he worked at Squillian. And so his daughter married this guy who was a finance guy. And he said to him, okay, what I'll do is I'll give you $1 million. Go out and see what you can do with that and, come back and talk to me. It's not Lindsay Fox. It's doesn't matter. It'll come to me. Anyway, Alex Wiselich is the guy's name. He had $1 million. He then turned that $1 million into Squillians, right? So he invested into different companies and whatever. And so he ended up running all of the Dick Pratt and Dick Pratt's finances because he was given an opportunity. He turned it into gold. It was already gold, but a bigger pile of gold, and never looked back. And so he did something with that. I have another mate who also, he used to years ago, invest, say, $1 million in a good idea and just, see where it can lead to if he felt. And he said to me, I have to meet the people because I have to feel their energy. I have to feel as though they're genuine, that they're in flow. And it's interesting because next week Shark Tank's starting up that used to be on 5 or 10 years ago. So I've contacted them, but they've already closed the books this time. But that's once again, they've got supporting entrepreneurs with good ideas. So I'm thinking the world is out there. I'm just going to give it a bit of a nudge and see what happens. Yeah. If not now, when, Don't want to die. I really didn't want to be on my deathbed going, I wished I'd tried this or wished I'd tried that. I think at the end of the day, my top budget was 60 grand. So I've spent my top budget, but I'd allocated it, done it within that amount. And I thought, well, you got to invest to get a return, don't you? You got to put it in to get it
Absolutely. Out. And I'm just so proud to see what you've done and what you've accomplished over the last 12 months. And this is on top of the other things you do. It's not like you were full-time doing this clothing range.
I know this is in my part-time, so I've worked most weekends. Let me tell you, it's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. But it was something that I wanted to do that was mine. So that was another driver to stay persistent, consistent, motivated. And I've got to say, you've been a massive, massive support and help, because you're just really supportive of people that are willing to give things a go. And it all came about because of you, Paul.
Oh, I like to take credit, but
because of
you're the one that I was there in the background going, "Go, Sally, go!" Definitely.
Well, I wouldn't have read the book.
One that did the work.
But you
okay.
Joe Vitale.
I recommended Joe Vitale. But what do they say? When you're ready, the message will come, or whatever.
Yeah.
So
divine timing.
I hate that it says it's just a messenger or anything like that, because I'm not sure about that. But you were ready for that piece of material to come to you, and it ignited your passion, and now it's so exciting. So if anybody wants to know a little bit more or wants to get any of your clothes, where do they go?
Yes, so the website, empoweredclothing.com.au. Everything's there, but also I'm working on a men's range. It's of just a top in the bamboo, and I'm also working on some leggings and hot pants. So they're all under
hot pants.
I know they're going to look hot. So so thank you, Paul, for all your support and encouragement, because, as I said, it's teamwork makes the dream work. In these days, it really is about collaboration, connections, communication, and community building of like-minded people supporting each other, having that accountability.
Look, I think one of the biggest problems we have in society today is the breaking down of community. If we can create this community. Anyway, so congratulations, Sally. I'm so happy that you've come this far. And now next year when we sit down, maybe you can invite me onto your super yacht and we can do it live on the super yacht. How's that sound?
Yeah, well, first of all, I want to break in. Yeah, it sounds fantastic. So, I think this will be a really good, interesting case study because it's actually implementing everything that we talk about all the time.
I'm going to finish on the story, because this comes from Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. Mm-hmm. And Thomas Edison, he was one of Napoleon Hill's closest friends. And we all know that the story goes that it took Thomas Edison 10,000 times to invent the incandescent electric light bulb, right? It took 10,000 times. His next invention was the talking dictaphone. It came to the first time off.
Yeah.
Right? So when you do the hard work, and again in the book, it turns around and says, when the world opens, or when abundance comes to you, it's going to come in such abundance, you're going to wonder where it all came from. Yeah. You've done that first part. You've done the 10,000 that Edison did. You know where you are. The next one is so much easier.
Yeah, 100%. Fail fast. As an entrepreneur, do you remember Toby Nagy? He said, so many entrepreneurs, they fail, but they keep following on these ideas, and just at some stage something will give. So let's see. Watch this space.
Yeah. And that again was another message from the book is, when you quit is when you lose. You have not lost until you don't quit. All right then, Sally, you take care.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Paul. See you later.
Bye.